Imagine losing 95% of your net worth with just one crash. Build your company again, pivot 4 times, and then crash again. Most case scenarios, you will fail, you will stand up again, but will you actually retry? Today, my guest, Edison, has not only stood up from his failures or that crash mishap, but has built a company that has traded $40 billion in volume.
Base today is a platform that lets you trade everything and spend everywhere. At its core, we are a non-custody wallet. You could use it to trade crypto, you could use it to trade equities, you can use it to trade oil. There was also other reports of a certain centralized exchange that frees the user's funds. But for Base, we can never do that because everything is non-custodial. If you do not like Base, you can just export your private key. The access of funds is never once deprived and taken from your hands. This growth may not be humans. This growth may be AI agents. I'm just making this up. 13 billion AI agents within the next 5 years. I will bet that AI agents will be making more trades than humans in the next 3 to 5 years time.
What still made you stuck around in this industry and give it another shot?
The reason for me is a lot more innate. It's a lot more within my heart that there's a desire to do it. Think lesser and do more.
You have not had a very easy start of your entrepreneurial journey, right? Walk us through this journey when you were affected by the Luna crash and barely had any money left to your name, and obviously had to think whether I wanted to go for this one last shot, which you obviously did, and which I'm glad you did because it's probably paid off now. But walk us through that journey a little bit.
Yeah, so I joined crypto quite a long time ago,
What
8
year is
years
this?
ago.
Okay.
2018. So I joined right after graduating from Carnegie Mellon. And it was my first job out of college and was really excited to kind of push through the frontiers of blockchain at the point of time. So that at the point of time, blockchain was about consensus protocol. And that was something that I studied a lot back in school about the different consensus protocol that are in work, proof of work. At the point of time, proof of stake was an idea. It wasn't implemented. So
Right.
that was the time. So I was there in Zedekar for around close to 4 years. Helped them to bring Zedekar to mainnet and saw Zedekar through the lens about how to get adoption.
Mm-hmm.
So Zilliqa has a lot of similarity. I mean, just in case the audience do not know what is Zilliqa,
Yep.
it is a high throughput blockchain with its own smart contract language back in 2018.
I think if you go by the ticker ZIL.
Yes, it's
Right?
ZIL.
Yeah,
It's a dinosaur coin.
correct.
No one really trades that or use it anymore.
Yeah.
But in 2018, the other thing that is very much mirror that is Solana. They raised
Right.
around the same time. High throughput blockchain, its own smart contract language.
Yep.
Yeah, and of course right now Solana is doing very well.
Right.
But I think it is the case with any business out there.
Yep.
The idea itself is not
It's
novel,
not everything. Yeah.
but the execution matters a lot. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So but anyway, I was there for 4 years. Zilliqa has to go down the adoption curve. So was there to help them out with things like building the STO product, so security tokens. Yeah. Pretty much similar to what people are talking as RWAs or
Yep.
tokenized asset. It's something that we've been through last time.
Got it.
And then there's also a slight foray into advertising technology. Before in 2021, that's when I decided to really get my hands dirty on DeFi.
Right.
So the first time that I think the advantage of being in a blockchain company like Zilliqa is that you have colleagues that are trying out the different things. They're trying out the DeFi farms, and then I was trying to use it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was what got me into doing more on crypto. It might sound hilarious, but someone who is working in a blockchain company back in 2018 do not have any too much asset on a self-custody wallet until the DeFi summer.
Right.
Yeah, it actually happens. Yes, we have
Personal pain point. I mean, self-reflection.
yeah, there are many.
For sure.
Yeah, maybe some of this if you are if you're one of them, I think there's nothing wrong. But at least it's for me is that I only really have a significant amount of money on non-custody wallet because I
Yeah.
was really trying to do the DeFi farms on Sushi on Yam Finance. I think Yam
Right.
Finance was the first.
I remember that.
Yeah. So anyway, why did I tell you this story? Is because that was also what got me and my co-founder to be a lot more involved together. So we were working on So
And
we
he
were
comes
working on
from
different.
Zilica as well.
No, he didn't. He came from the more tech background.
I see.
He used to work in Alibaba,
Okay,
and then but we are friends for like many years.
got it.
So but for friends for many years, you also need a common interest to keep talking. And I think that was the thing that we were trying to optimize. We were going around and trying to see what are the DeFi things that we can get into.
Absolutely.
What is a new thing that is interesting? So towards the end of like I think it was I believe was 2020. We started to be very excited about like the ideas of like Luna.
Non.
Yeah, like you have a UST, your Luna being able to like to get the UST. Then so I think that was like what, and then we're doing a looping as well. So like, after you get a UST, you get
Yeah.
into
And then you
USDC,
kind of
you go back to Luna and you loop it again.
loop in.
Yeah, so that was like, and then like I think yeah, so like I think that also got us very close to the Terra community
It
at the
was
point of time.
a perfect flywheel back then until
It
it
was a
wasn't.
flywheel. Yeah, it was like a very mass adoption, I would
Correct.
say. Yeah, like I think mass adoption requires a story to sell.
Yeah.
The Terra story was that this is a better savings account. So, like people who are otherwise like risk, like very afraid of taking risk in crypto,
Yeah.
they come into it because it was presented as a savings account.
Correct.
So I think that kickstart the flywheel when there's more UST coming in, then the higher the Terra goes. The higher the Terra goes, then people get it into UST and keep doing the loop again.
Yeah.
So it was a perfect flywheel back then. So
Correct.
like I think that was like when we decided that we decided to spend more time in crypto. Yeah, because this is an exciting space. There's only a limited amount of time that you can commit after your day job to go into to doing all these things.
Absolutely.
So we decided to quit our job and then start a company together. Yeah. So yeah, the first company was built on Terra. And of course, because we are Terra Messis, I think it came to a point that we are we are just like very very fascinated about the whole mechanism of Terra, that we decided to just like all in, not just our own personal capital, but also the company that
company
we are
funds.
working on.
Yeah.
So I think that really went quite okay until when things didn't turn out the way that it should.
Yeah.
So in we actually like so we ship out our product in I believe it's April,
Mm-hmm.
and then Terra collapsed a month later.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that was devastating because I think like I've been through the whole process of like a denial, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if you've seen that meme curve before. Like there's like denial of like something that's
Yes.
going on, and then slowly you go to acceptance.
Yeah.
I can see the whole curve
Right.
in my whole life cycle, because like the first thing that really happened was that when Terra started crashing, then I was thinking that, oh, this will come back,
Mm-hmm.
right? I had some USDC at the point of time. I used the USDC to
To
buy back
back
like
more.
UST.
Yeah.
And then like when that doesn't work out, I sold the UST and tried to buy Luna,
Yeah.
hoping that it will recover
Has to come back at some
yeah,
point.
yeah, and it
It
didn't.
never did.
Yeah, and that's how you minus 95% in the
Wow.
course of a few days.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Edison, with that whole journey, and then eventually being in the denial phase, what eventually led to based? And I don't know, you guys started off as a card company, right? Or what was it before? Because I know you also pivoted a lot. I mean, at least 4 times before you came to where you are today,
Yeah.
right? How did you actually revive? How did that energy? How did that motivation come back again and be like, I've lost 95% of my wealth,
Mm.
but I am still gonna give this one shot. Because the truth is, when you're at that stage, a lot of people get depressed. I mean, Luna had a lot of suicides as well. People obviously left crypto. Makes total sense. You had a choice to perhaps maybe go back and get a corporate job. What still made you
Mm.
stuck around in this industry and give it another shot?
The reason for me is a lot more innate. Like it's it's a lot more within my heart that there's a desire to do it. So from a very young age, I wanted to start my own business,
Right.
and for very practical reasons. I mean, I also have like a very practical heart in me that starting your own business doesn't like you require some capital at first, and that's
Mhm.
also why like I decided to of course like go for like studies, and then like I took a scholarship, so I wanted to serve my bond. so that like there's no debt that is under my name.
Yeah.
So, and then I have like some savings, and then that's when I decided that okay, when everything is settled, I start a company.
Right.
Let's give like something that is a childhood dream a try.
Right.
And I wasn't ready to give up because I've only tried that for 6 months, and I wasn't ready to say that this is not working out.
Yep.
And so to me, giving up is not an option, because giving up would mean that, whatever things that people said in the past, like including my parents who wasn't very supportive of like entrepreneurship
Yeah.
journey,
You
then they
would.
would say that,
They
oh
would.
yeah,
They would be true.
they said, they'll be like, you
I
see,
told you so.
I told you so. Just stay in the job, do a regular job, and live a normal life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't want to succumb, like to basically like let them have the excuse to do it. So I would say it's really stubbornness. That,
Absolutely.
yeah,
That grit in you,
yeah,
actually. It's also I feel like I like to say this very often, people chase stability, and that's for sure that's something that you should have in your life. But sometimes when that personal agenda or that personal dream becomes so strong, no matter what, you become like a cockroach. You get beaten up 10 times, you still get up another day to fight.
yeah.
Right. So Edison, the grit in you is very strong, right? You and your co-founders. Now, for everyone that's perhaps watching this, what was the game? So what is Based, firstly, right? Give us a
Mm.
little bit of a rundown, and how did you get around into building what Based is today?
Yeah, so I mean, like coming back from the journey, then after that we did some like we started to do another product, which is a payment gateway.
Okay.
So, and then for various reasons, we decided um to to really like start Based in
Mm-hmm.
2023. So, Based today is a platform that lets you trade everything and spend everywhere. At its core, we are a non-custody wallet, and you can store your USDC on this wallet. It is built on top of Hyperliquid, so you could use anything that is on Hyperliquid. So, for example, you could use it to trade crypto, you could use it to trade equities, you can use it to trade oil. So, I think that these are the few things that is amazing. Like, you are able to trade everything.
Which is a big deal, actually,
Yeah. And
especially in
soon you
today's
can.
time.
Mm,
Given that I would say, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I would assume, and maybe I've read this somewhere, that statistically equities are being way largely traded more than crypto as well at this point of time. Like the interest of volume there is insane.
yeah, absolutely. So from what we have seen based by the number of users of who are actively trading on us and the assets that they are trading, majority of it is equities.
Wow.
Yeah. So and I think that this is actually where like the landscape today is quite different from the landscape in last year.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, I think a lot of our early growth was really brought up because people were trying to get leverage crypto.
Right.
People were trying to long SPL, long Esther,
Right.
yeah, like long BTC, right? So, and then long hype, of course. So
Uh-huh.
there was a lot of excitement around that time. But this is a different time. This is a time that equities is taking a lot of attention. So we have a lot of users who trade like assets, like of course, like we have a lot of people who trade SK Hynix
Mm-hmm.
because it's a uh it's like it's either because it's like Korean users wanting to trade it because they're familiar with it. It could be because like this is a great product, great equity to own because of this all this like memory shortage that's going on with the HBM shortage. And then of course there's also like the part that a lot of people in the world just couldn't access SK Hynix in a way that is very efficient, and they want to access and leverage SK Hynix.
So I'm
Yeah.
guessing your audience as well. Like, tell us a little bit more about your audience today. Are they actually those traditional fintech people that want to find a way to long and short these equities, or are there still predominantly those crypto folks that are more sophisticatedly longing and shorting equities than crypto itself or BTC itself?
I would say that there's a mix of them.
Okay.
But if I want to be very honest with you, it's like if you want to know exactly like how many people have not touched crypto and is using Base today, I wouldn't have the answer. But if I were to guess, the answer I would say is probably like maybe like it's increasing, maybe like 10% or so.
Yep.
That is like previously they did not touch crypto, but they are starting to use it. And why do I know these numbers? Is because our app has not been designed for these users at the start.
Oh, okay.
So
Interesting.
because our app is that and I think that this is also one of the things that I will also openly acknowledge that
Yep.
we are aware there are things that could be improved to make it something that's a lot more better for a non-crypto native audience.
Yeah.
Like for example, if we're talking about non-crypto or native audience, how do they get USDC? Like this is a things that we have to solve.
Yeah.
So we are adding fiat ramps on it. We think that our business is about is our main business is the trading interface. So we want people to be able to come in easily, and the way that they can come in easily is that they can deposit money from the bank account with as little fees as possible.
Mm.
Yeah. So like fees to us is like we are really like not trying to make a single cent out of the on ramp.
Right.
And we're even considering like subsidizing the on ramping fees because
Interesting.
of like we just want people to come in and trade on us.
Right.
Yeah. So and then like there are some evidences of that happening. Like I think that as a team, the first time that we realized this trend happening was that remember the silver run up in January?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I have like some friends that reach out to me and say that,
Where
oh,
can I long and short?
no, they say that how do I get money on base? They want to buy silver.
Uh,
They don't want to go to the bank and queue up for 2 hours to buy
right.
silver. They want to
Right.
buy it on base.
Yeah.
And then after you get on through the process, like you have to use this account to get USDC, transfer it to a network, and then you do this.
Right.
And that's why I think that is not intuitive for the non-crypto native
Which
audience.
is a good thing actually, right? Because I feel like, of course, I mean, competition aside, I just seeing the whole the drive towards getting this audience is huge, right? Because the population of people that, I mean, we can say there's a lot of people in crypto, but there's that number is still very small comparatively to
People who trade equities.
correct.
Yes,
Correct.
you're absolutely right. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But
So to us, I think that this is a very important milestone that we
it's a
pursue.
good problem actually.
It's I would say that right now is the best time to do it
Yeah.
because crypto or like, I think our industry is in the phase that we are defining ourselves,
Yeah.
right? That I think I'm speaking this as a 8 years dinosaur in crypto. We've seen the shift from the crypto punk mentality
Yeah.
to whereby people only want BTC and nothing else.
Yeah.
To people who are DeFi maxis.
Yeah.
Like they hate the banks and then they just want to be using all the different protocols on the Ethereum or Solana. Then of course like it moved to like the meme coin season,
Yeah.
which I think a lot of people in the industry are not very proud of.
Yeah.
And it moved to the what I believe to be the time that it is a global permissionless place to trade anything in the world. Yeah. I think that this is something that you can only do in crypto. Yeah.
That's very true actually. I think also people have started realizing thanks to AI as well, but the ability to be more aware of the breaches that could happen, the hacks, the scams, and to kind of have more control to themselves. But Edison, going back to the one thing that a lot of people may not know, or for those that are very early to base, perhaps know that you guys started off as a card company, right? How did that decision then eventually come to becoming more of a trading platform, which then really helped you blow up, right? And how did that transition? Was it more of a intentional part of the roadmap, or was it just by, you had absolutely no choice and it happened with luck? Or what was that decision like?
So the original, like the first version of Base that we released in 2023, it was a smart contract wallet that
Mm,
is built on Polygon.
right.
And then and the interface was designed to be very simple for people to use. Like you could be someone who has like completely no understanding in any DeFi farms like Aave or Compound, but you could get your USDC in, and then you can use the app to put into Aave and earn like 3 to 5% APR. And the idea is that you can also withdraw that and put it onto a card and spend. So that was the idea back then, right? So like we had this like, and then we are also very into this like idea of a decentralized card product. Yeah. So this being a decentralized card product is that we try to do everything that's on chain.
Right.
And then yeah, so and we sponsor a lot of the gas fees that people are paying
Yep.
because the intuition back then was that the friction of user experience is people having to acquire a gas token.
Yep.
So we try to abstract that away from users.
Of course, this business is a very competitive one as well, right?
Back then it was very, very new. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
And everyone now wants to become everything everywhere, or let's say a neo
yeah.
bank, and allow you to trade your crypto, your leverage, prediction market, and everyone wants to become a super app. How do
Oh,
you guys become? How do you guys actually try to stay relevant and ahead of the company?
you mean like today or like
Yes.
previously?
No, today.
Today. I think that the idea of a super app is not novel in any degree,
Yeah.
because especially in Asia we have used a lot of super app.
We all aware and
Yes.
interact with them every day.
Yeah, like we're in Thailand, Grab is a super app.
Line.
Then there's Line, there's
Yes.
WeChat.
Correct.
So being able to do everything is a very obvious thing, because the intuition back then was that is that if you have an app that can do everything, then your lifetime value of every customer increases.
Yep.
Yeah, because if they use it, that means like they're thinking about your app. And then when they're thinking about the app and when they actually need to use the features, then they can reconnect and just do it right away. So that's why like it's very valuable to own that super app thesis. But when it comes to the staying relevant, it's a very interesting question. To us, it's about improving like the stability of the app,
Right.
whereby we want to have like more things, and not just like more things but also more stable.
Yeah.
And these are things that we also acknowledge as a team, that there are things and qualities and the functions and features in the app that can be improved.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we carry a lot of like technical debt from the past, where we are shipping so quickly
Yeah.
that there are things that are broken, and it's
Yeah.
just getting really really hard to fix once this like super app becomes really really huge.
Absolutely.
But we make it a top priority for us to fix all those issues and provide the best experience for our users.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
Then oh yeah, and then the second thing is that I think that being able to do a card product is also important.
Mhm.
Because um for the many super apps that I do, that I see in the market, I think the very low hanging fruit that people do is that they integrate Hyperliquid.
Mm.
Or some of them they integrated not just Hyperliquid but other platforms as well, like the
Yep.
yeah, or like the GRVT and so on. So but I mean, for us we only integrate Hyperliquid. There are people who also integrate Polymarket, so it's like a platform that can trade everything. But to me, I feel that a card product is something that is not easily replicated, right?
Interesting.
So if you think about a card product, what makes a card product great? It's a very long conversation, but most people think that it is. I mean, I think that it's just by number of engagement on posts. People
Yeah.
think that the best card product is the one that gives you the best reward.
Reward.
But we think past that, because rewards are temporary, right? If the margins that you're making on every card is like 1% on every transaction, then it is not going to be so sustainable to give like super high kind of like cashback, unless like the play is like something else. Is
Yeah.
that okay? We are giving you the cashback because we value your relationship with us
Yeah.
in other ways. Like for example, if you trade on us for this amount of like time, then this is where we are happily able to give you something to
Yeah.
keep you
Because obviously you
happy.
can subsidize it from the other side of the
Yeah,
business as
it's
well.
about trying to capture the lifetime like revenue. So like, we are learning a lot of things from the banks.
Yeah.
The banks, they do that, right? So if you're one that you churn a lot of revenue and volume for the bank, then they give you the best perks. They
Yeah.
give you the best interest rate, the best like the best mouse card that money could afford.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we also want to give the best for the people who are using us the most, who are staking the most like base tokens on us.
Interesting. So, Edison, we went from the whole journey, and then eventually with TGE, you guys have got yourselves on a few of the very top exchanges. You guys have generated some very interesting volume, also from a platform perspective, also from a trading volume perspective. What's next post TGE now that you guys have launched a token? You've mentioned about the product. Share with us some exciting updates, if you may. What's next for Based?
I think that right now Base is undergoing a very important change that
Mhm.
before like I would say like last year, we are optimizing a lot of the user experience for crypto native audience.
Okay.
And we want to be right now we will want to make some like changes to the design, the layout that appeals to people who are not just in crypto but in anywhere else. And it is important for us to do this because the addressable market for us will increase tenfold. Yeah, and we want to capture that. We are adding the on ramp and off ramp, the one that I mentioned just now.
Right.
So we want to get that going. And I feel that in the future, of course, we also want to add like more important things that will help people make more intelligent trade,
Yeah.
like better analytics, better like tracker, and also potentially some AI feature to help people see what is out there. The like what is like this token, what's the bull case and what's the bear case.
Right.
um and I think that like I've been trying to find out this as a ongoing research within the team, because we are preparing for what is to come next, which is that where are the next like few users if we are thinking about growth to become that metrics that we're optimizing. And I just think that this growth may not be humans, this growth may be AI agents, right? There is like
Not
going to be
surprising.
like 6 billion people in the world,
Yeah.
but there may be, I'm just making this up, there may be like 30 billion AI agents within the next like 5 years. And
Absolutely.
I think that this will happen because people will be asking like agents to make more trades for them. It may not be exactly like how it is today, where it is like completely autonomous, but it may just be that I may be asking my OpenClaw instance, which I'm running every day, by the way, for the last few months, to make a trade for me and say that okay, if the oil is like past a certain, I mean like if like Trump says something about this, let's like long oil.
Yeah.
They can be the kind of like, if this happen, then do this.
Yeah.
I think that AI will be a very good tool to capture that.
How's your open cloud trading for you? Has it been profitable?
No, that's why the product is not there. But I feel that it's about like trying to give like but I
The
think what's,
playground, the ability to
yeah.
experiment.
But what I realized is important is that for AI to do well in this kind of decisions, it's not about the frontier models.
Hmm.
The edge is on the data and the proprietary data,
That
and
you can give them
also
access to.
like the very strong context awareness that they have around a particular like stuff.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. So the next play for you guys is actually the infrastructure and the ability for AI agents to trade on base.
I would say that like for us, what we think of is that trying to build a product that people want in like 3 to 5 years from now.
Yeah.
And the product that people want to have is that something, I think, and generally I feel that people want to have a product that allows them to have some control and to be able to participate in markets without having to be glued to a screen
Yeah.
for the whole day.
Yeah.
So, and I think that it's very important for us to start creating the infrastructure for like the data is coming in, and then like how does it fit into the models, and making sure that this actually will play out well. So and I think this is like one very important factor. The other factor that we think of is that if this thing happens, we want to gatekeep it. We want to gatekeep this to a basically that this compute power is going to be finite.
Okay.
Let's say the access to this data and the compute, it is going to be finite, and we want people to, and that's why we are going to design some tokenomics around like from the current like base tokenomics to become something that if this thing is really useful, then the demand of this should be so high that it will also affect the underlying like tokens that
Token
will be
price.
powering this.
Right.
Yeah, so this is like something that is like construction, that is like that we are thinking about. I think it is basically capture a few things that one is our bet that AI agents will be making more trades than humans in the next 3 to 5 years time. Yeah, and
Okay.
we just want to become the player that will be playing in the forefront. So we have been experimenting a lot. I've been losing a lot of money because my trading agent is not doing too well. Uh, but I think it's getting there.
Please
Like,
let me know when your agent becomes profitable
and
and you replicate this to base. I will want to use it for sure.
yeah, but when you see it, that the product will have like access to really really good data
Yeah.
that will be helping you to make that
What sort
decision.
of timelines are you looking at? And again, I say this just because I mean I don't want to put I would never want to put a founder with against a timeline. That's just very important, and I'm sure community members will be very keen to understand. But like when you say in a time range, are you is this something you guys looking at, within this year, next year? How soon are you guys looking at?
It will be within this year.
Okay,
Yeah, so I would say that it will be around like Q3 this year, because we realized that we don't really have that advantage of time.
right.
Right now I'm of the opinion that everything in the world is
It's
moving on
moving.
accelerated timeline.
Yes.
Like everything is just being pushed forward, right? Something that used
It's
to
like
take
10x speed.
mm,
And that, that also brings me to my next question, which is everyone's trying to do this as well, right? So we have like the OKXs of the world, the Binances, and everyone's trying to become or build on this X402 or agents real as well. But also kind of separating and back to like your trade everything, spend everywhere. How is Based different to, let's say, OKX? Because they have the card as well.
mhm,
They have the ability to trade as well.
mm,
I think maybe keeping the equities aside,
mhm.
right? How can one understand the benefit of one? How are you different? And if so, of course, like why do I benefit trading on Base?
So a very important distinction between based and decentralized exchanges is that we don't store custodial of your funds.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a very important like narrative that will remain true for the test of time, because and I think that this is one that people will some people will enjoy and think that this is like something that they want to use.
Yeah.
uh Centralized exchanges has its own like issues where sometimes, like I would say last year, there was like a very high profile hack
Mm-hmm.
that happened to Bybit. So security risk is high, but of course Bybit recovered the funds, right?
Yeah.
But there was also like other reports of like a certain centralized exchange that frees the user's funds
Right.
when the user was making too much money. But for Base, we can never do that because
It's a
everything is
non-custodial.
non-custodial. If you do not like Base, you can just export your private key, you can put it onto another non-custodial wallet, and you can use it as normal, right?
Mm.
So like the access of funds is never once deprived and taken from your hands.
Yeah.
So that flexibility and distinction is actually what makes Based different, and also possibly, as we are talking this about this podcast, like why people are believing in hype so much that the prices of hype is really
Almost all-time high today.
almost all time high today. So
Yeah.
as we are recording this podcast,
Yeah. It's $56 right now.
and I hope that is even higher by the time that this podcast is actually released.
Yep.
So that I think this narrative will continue to grow because of like the ongoing like conversations in the US, where like the US like government and its SEC is a lot more welcoming towards like decentralized
Yep.
protocols. So and we plan to become that strong distribution force to accelerate this movement and the ideal to capture like the overall mode of like this like business.
Interesting.
So if we think that centralized exchanges like Binance and OKX and like Bybit, they each have more than 100 million accounts each.
Yep.
And if we go by the number of addressable, the active addresses on Hyperliquid today, it is it's like a lot lesser than 100 million.
Right.
So if Base does well, then the marketing flywheel for us goes on well. Then more people trade on Base, and more people will subsequently trade on Hyperliquid.
Yeah.
So this is like a interesting
Yeah,
dynamic.
you mentioned Hyperliquid, and of course, you guys intended to start on Base Chain. You eventually
As a new bank
as a
product.
neobank product, and of course, your first product was also on Polygon. You eventually landed on Hyperliquid. What was the decision of eventually building on Hyperliquid, and what sort of support or let's say incentives have you actually received from Hyperliquid?
So the main difference between the V1 base in 2023 and the base that we have right now is that the main pillar of product that will define the revenue of the company. So in the past, we think that the new brand product is actually where we are going to monetize.
Yeah.
So we wanted to eventually explore taking a small spread of every deposit that people put into Aave.
Yeah.
Which we didn't do, by the way, in the end. Like, and because we were in the growth stage.
Yeah.
And we were thinking that we'll make money on interchange fees, that it will eventually cover the operating cost of Base. And then like so that was like something in 2023. And 2023 was a very different landscape from today. It was a time that there wasn't so many crypto cards out there. So and then like I think it was a time that we were one of the first cards. And I always recall this experience that in a very hot summer, I was like Visa introduced me to a few card issuers in Hong Kong. There were around 5 issuers that they were potentially interested in crypto cards. So I went to Hong Kong I think in the summer of like 2023.
Yep.
And then like we went to find 5 card issuers, and only one card issuers eventually become the crypto card issuer.
Right.
And the company is RIP, who sold itself like for 600 million to Kraken.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other 4 they didn't want to touch crypto at all.
I see.
Yeah, so there was a time, and even for RIP, it was a very early kind of like exploration to,
Yeah.
to crypto cards. But today it's a very different landscape. You have like so many cards that's out there. So the original hypothesis of trying to make money on interchange fees is no longer valid anymore,
Right.
and we need to find something else. And it so happens that in April last year, the company was hit by a very massive card fraud. So a card fraud in our case is that it is a bad debt to us.
Right.
That there are some people who are able to spend more money than whatever that's being authorized.
Right.
And so it was an edge case that we should have caught, but we didn't catch it, and that made us lose a lot of money. So like we had to basically expedite a lot of all of our plans.
Right.
So initially, I think that we wanted to become like a very multi-chain wallet initially.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we wanted to support not just EVM, but also Solana and also Hyperliquid, of course.
Yeah.
So we were done with the Hyperliquid portion, which is the first step. But then, like the incident in April actually make us think that, all right, it's either now or never,
Yeah.
because if we don't ship it now, then we will never be able to ship anything. We don't have funds to
Yeah.
play, so we had to cut down everything else and go with the most ridiculous idea, which is that let's build a product, a wallet that only works on one chain, and it worked. Yeah, that was our
Wow.
first version of like Base, and that Base wallet only works on Hyperliquid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But today, of course, right now, Base also works on like Polygon with Polymarket.
Yeah.
And for the time being, I think that and we will also add support for other chains if needed.
Yeah.
Mm.
You guys can call this luck, but I call this grit. I call this calling the shots. And, obviously you could call it blessing in disguise, but
Mm.
all of that series of events eventually turned out the right ones for you guys.
Yeah, I think that it is like I said, I think as a company we are very pragmatic when it comes to like really exactly like if we do this product, how much money do we make?
Yeah.
Can we compete with other people?
Yeah.
Yeah, and at the moment that we realized that we couldn't compete on card rewards
Fees
anymore.
and
Yeah, that earning money on interchange fees and hoping that this will be a profit and revenue for a company is just not going to survive too well today. So we had to do what we
what you
do.
needed to do.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Well, that's a very inspiring journey, of course. Edison, what I've also read tweets of you guys doing sort of launch pads in a way or the other, or rather mini apps. Share with us what's happening behind the scenes there, and what are you guys exploring with that idea essentially?
So today, Base allows people to trade like anything on Hyperliquid, allows people to trade on prediction markets. But in the world, we trade a lot of different things.
Mm.
For example, we trade Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
So it's not yet on Hyperliquid. But if we see a team that's doing that and we think that it's important, it's interesting. And this is also one of the roadmap that we have before we TG. We on the light paper that we publish, we mentioned that Base will have a launchpad. Basically, is that if you hold Base token, then
Yep.
you will get exposure to projects that will be launching on Base.
I see.
The story and the idea of how this will become is that it's very similar to the story of a centralized exchange.
Yeah.
If you have a distribution platform that is so huge,
Yeah.
that distribution itself becomes a moat,
Correct.
and people will pay for the moat. And I think that this case of like a very early start is to get the first project to be on Base, right? And just to be very pragmatic is that we have to incubate them.
Mm.
Because like we are not at the scale of like Binance that
So you can get the top projects.
they
to
can
launch.
get people to give tokens without Binance doing anything. Yeah. So we have to be very pragmatic there. But and we think that we want them to be able to progress well. And so that number one, this like idea of like you can trade anything on Base becomes even more real, that you could use Base to not just like trade oil, but you can even use it to open a gacha on a Pokemon card, and also have a just to be able to get some luck. Maybe if you're lucky, you can get a very good card that you can sell.
You guys are really going by your tagline: trade anything and spend anywhere.
We are going by that. When we design that headline, this is the vision of Base, and I don't see that to be changing anytime.
Very
Like whether
good.
this is about doing a launchpad for Pokemon TCG card, or whether this is about building the infrastructure for AI agents to do trading better.
Yep.
I think that this will not gravitate towards the tagline of trade everything and spend everywhere.
Trade everything and spend anywhere.
Mm.
That's it. That's if one TLDR, you need to remember that from today's conversation.
Yeah.
Edison, if you were to tell a younger 20-year-old who's watching this and the journey that you've gone through building and then losing 95% of your net worth, bootstrapping it all over again, having faced your decision of whether this is my last one shot, what would you do differently and what sort of advice would you give this 20-year-old who's watching the show?
I think that I'm not really an advice guy to be very honest, but because I feel that the generation that I was in is different from the generation today, and arguably I feel that the current generation have it harder because AI is changing a lot of things.
Yep.
Right, a lot of things are just expedited a lot.
Yep.
And even if you're thinking about like, okay, so for example, let's take Y Combinator as an example, right? It used to be the case that you could get funding with just a PowerPoint deck. Like today, Y Combinator, you need distribution, you need revenue. Whatever things that's on Series A is now on the seed round for Y Combinator. So it's just a lot harder to do anything. And because AI just makes like coding a lot more accessible, so the competition is really high.
Yep.
And if you have any ideas and things that you want to try as a business, I think just like get started, because the future just reward people who are doers instead of thinkers. So
Very well said.
think lesser and do more.
Very well said. Like you said as well. Think lesser, do more. Idea is cheap, execution is everything. And I think you guys are a good example of that, because you guys, no matter what circumstances comes through, just keep fighting the battle, throwing those jabs, and maybe, one day you land where you are at. And when you figure that out, obviously the idea and the goal is just to keep pushing.
Yeah, that's our philosophy in the team. We really try different things a lot.
Yep.
Like for whatever things that you see that's working, we have like so many things that didn't work.
Absolutely.
Like I think the other day a community member was like keeping tabs of like the features on our app that is no longer there. Like for example, live streaming.
Right.
We used to try that last time.
Interesting.
And it didn't work out. So, but it's still there. But we just don't really maintain it. So, but we have tried it. We have tried it before. It's just that it didn't work out.
Yep.
So, and I have no regrets of trying that. And we'll keep trying no matter what happens.
Should always be the way.
Yeah.
Should always be the way.
We'll keep trying until we get something that is really like something that people really, really like to use.
Awesome, Edison. I thoroughly enjoyed this journey. Obviously, respect the grit. Love what you guys are building. And of course, would love to see where this progress goes within the next couple of months, especially now this whole Launchpad idea has come. Taking up your word on seeing where this agentic infra payment structure and trading goes. I'm looking forward to seeing when your OpenClaw actually becomes profitable, because I want to use Base for that as well.
Yeah.
But guys, if you really enjoyed the show today, remember, trade everything, spend anywhere. And this is Edison from the Based, and signing out. I will share some of these links below here for you guys, so you can maybe sign up and perhaps also test out the app and join the community and be able to actually spend anywhere. Until then, guys, cheers.